Many of the migrants arriving in Europe after a deadly cross of the Mediterranean Sea have had harrowing experiences after leaving home in search of a better life in Europe. Abdullah also was driven for weeks through the Sahara after being captured by traffickers. He says he and many other migrants were treated like livestock by their captors. In Libya, he played dead to survive as rebels shot at other migrants, and after the trip was intercepted by a Libyan Coast Guard, he was thrown into a crowded detention center, dashing his hopes and dreams of reaching Europe. Abdullah is among the 161 Ivorian migrants who returned home to Abidjan from Libya.
We lived in a transit camp in Libya, and it was not a pleasant situation. I spent 2 months there in a camp in Tripoli, and that is where I understood that Europeans are the ones complicating things. They are the reason we are not going back. That's what I came to understand.
Fresh reports of abuse against African migrants in Libya have sparked anger across the continent, outrage that is likely to lend urgency to talks on immigration and migration as the European Union leaders meet their African Union counterparts this week. Libyan authorities have promised to investigate the slavery allegations, but the European Union too has been the target of anger and frustration. Despite the hardships that have been experienced and faced with unemployment and poverty, many of the young people in Ivory Coast say they would still attempt to go to Europe in search of a better life.
I have Ivorian brothers and sisters who are still living there. When you see them coming back home, they build homes and have money. When you look at that and look at the house you live in, which is barely a house in a poor neighborhood, you tell yourself that you can also go abroad and live like them. And that's why I left for Europe.
EU Parliament President Antonio Tajani recently renewed a call for a Marshall Plan for Africa, stating that Africa's problems are also Europe's.
We need to ask Europeans to help us. They need to give money to African leaders so that they can help us, and we won't need to go anywhere. As long as they don't give us money, even if the ocean was made out of electricity, we will continue to go there because we are struggling here in our countries.
Such an approach reasons that raising income in Africa and creating opportunities there will keep would-be migrants at home. But as the European Union seeks to ramp up aid, much of that assistance is going to African security sectors charged with clamping down on migrant flows. Beryl Oro, CGTN.